Okay, it's 1973. At this point, a very popular television show in England is in 10 years. It's gone through a lot of changes, a lot of supporting characters leaving, even their main actor leaving, who they, of course, would replace in a risky move, but paid off then, well, paid off 2 times, and would go on to pay off even more. Initially giving this said show a 26-year run, and after bringing it back, giving this show boundless potential, allowing it to keep going when the actor got tired. So, to celebrate the 10th anniversary, what do? Treat the audience to something that they probably would have wanted all this time. Watching the past doctors of this series interact. That is a big deal. The multi-doctor story has been it's one of those special occasions. The original series only did it 3 times. The main series has only done a 10-minute charity special. Books and comics like to exploit it when they can. Well, a lot of the time, at least from the ones I've managed to get my hands on, don't like to outright have them meet. More or less have it, be all timey-wimey and have maybe half a book feature one doctor and the other half continue the story but with a completely different doctor in different orders, blah blah blah. It's a lot of fun to see it happen when it happens, and there's probably a good reason why the show didn't do it that often. A, doing it more ruins its specialty, and B, most of the stories tend to take a total almost unapologetic break from trying to tell a good episode, or try to go way too ambitious and come up with crap. Ours is kind of in the latter. I say kind of. This one was done by Bob Baker and Dave Martin, who are not the most well-regarded writers this series ever faced. I did Centauran Experiment, which I liked okay, but if it was a 4-parter, it would have probably been awful. That was a 2-parter, so it came off okay. And this exists. Let me make one thing clear. I still stand by this fact. If anything, the story may not be perfect. Watching the actor Troughton and Pertwee interact with each other is still well worth the price of admission, I think. They managed to keep this story very fun. And you're almost distracted by how, when you really do think about it, it's a very, very humdrum story. It's not too many big twists happen, and there's some parts to it that really, really tear it down. Those parts being, and I know blaming the effects isn't something I should do, but in this case, a lot of it's not that good. The whole weird time spatial anomaly, which it was just a crappy CSO blot that grew. Yeah, that looked so bad. And that's one thing. CSO was a popular tool of Barry Letts, the producer at the time. He was not. He really did like it. It was this nice toy that he thought, and to be fair, even it at least managed to get the idea off that, oh look, they're floating in space, or there's a giant monster. Your imagination had to make the effects work a little better, but still, that was fine. Here, okay, here's the thing. It just doesn't work. There's a sense of being able to. Okay, there's that willingness to put your disbelief on hold and go. You have to, take some effects in stride. This one just it doesn't look all that scary. It looks like someone poured coffee on the goddamn vision mixer, and we got this really weird. It's like they poured marker ink on it, and that's all we got. Also, they're the Omega's army. I can't remember their names. All I remember is they look like the inside of a pomegranate with a lobster claw. Yeah. I would have been okay with these things if they did not have the lobster claw. If they just had, I don't know, if they just shot lightning, I think I'd be okay. The lobster claw just pushes my suspension of disbelief to, wow, these things look so stupid. If they were just like, if they were just, just a pile of pomegranate guts that just walked towards you, I'd believe them better. And, just make them shoot lightning or something. You don't have to get technical. I mean, if I'm right, they shot lasers, so why can't you just make it look like they're shooting them with their minds? It's a nitpick, but still, why? Just why? What else? Oh, there's some character inconsistencies that really annoy me, and didn't annoy me too much because this was the first classic DVD I ever purchased. Watching it with more context, the Brigadier in this is very, very annoying. He's constantly going, "What's going on here? I don't believe you, Doctor. This is crazy," says the man who, at this point, had to deal with two separate invasions of plastic mannequins invading all this crap. Had to deal with aliens posing as devils. I can make the list go on, but still, going for all this stuff, and he's acting like what he would have if he was in the Web of Fear. This guy who's never seen anything like this before, and in constant disbelief until he finally sees it, and even then he's still like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it!" What the hell? And plus, I'm pretty sure these guys, these writers, have worked with him before, but you wouldn't believe it after watching this. It's like they just completely misunderstood the character, or even worse, just didn't really know what to do with the character. So we'll just make him shout at things. That works for a lot of different stuff. This not so much. Very much not so much. So what else? I'm sorry if I'm struggling here, but I'm grasping at straws. Oh, let's get to the biggest. Let's get to the biggest thing here. Omega. 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 Oh my God, Omega. Or Omega, or however you pronounce it. The way they pronounce it, the British pronounce it, the way the show pronounces it, it screwed me up. But yes, I used to like him actually in my first viewing. I thought, oh, he's this man who's driven into pure insanity, and that's why he, shrieks and acts over the top. And to an extent, I buy that still. But my God, all he does is shout. He's not a threat, really. I mean, the only thing that gives you any indication that he's anything is, once the doctors figure out who he is, they revere him, because Omega in Gallifreyan history is a very important figure. He's the second to Rassilon. Very important. And here, all we get is a guy in a somewhat cool-looking helmet. Shoot me for saying that. And mainly just yelling at shit, forcing the Third Doctor to go through a psychic battle with, in all honesty, a scene I really like. It shows up Pertwee's skills, and it's a very surreal kind of moment. It's unique to everything else I think I've seen. A psychic battle of a weird monster. I like that scene. I know some people disagree with me, but I don't care. I really liked it. But once that's over and we're back to Omega, he's the opposite of subtle. It's just, I can't really describe it without going in circles. Now again to the good. Besides Omega and, well, basically the threats of the story, I think that what holds us up is the protagonist. The Pertwee's great. When Troughton comes up, Troughton just instantly bumps up the enjoyment because everyone he works with, he knows how to work with everyone in their own way and make it fun and make it in character. And I don't know how much of that was the writers and Troughton. I don't know, I don't know exactly how that worked, but instantly he clicked with anybody on screen. Even Omega, to an extent, he managed to act off him pretty well. But and the goofy, suffering from a strange temporary brain disease Brigadier, he even managed to work up with pretty well. Sorry. But I'm still kind of baffled by everything, so it's going to be tough to really get this point out. Now, I talked about Pertwee. I got to talk about Hartnell. The thing about talking about Hartnell scenes is, and again, I completely understand why this was the thing the way this was. Hartnell was very sick. In fact, he died shortly after this. And they had to get him in there. Part of me appreciates, they at least, could not do... It showed that they could not do this without him in some way. But, on the other hand, sometimes I argue, was it really worth getting him here? Because all it is was just, hi everyone, I'm on a television screen, looking like I'm fulfilling a really, really weak cameo. Like, it's... Like cheesy sitcoms do that crap for hell. And again, there's not much to really comment on. He's just sitting there in a studio reading cue cards. I mean, he does at least make it sound like he's interacting with someone on the other end. I appreciate that. But at the end of the day, it's not just much. He's just like, okay, I'll do this. I'll talk to them for a few minutes, give them give them a cheat code, and then move on. He doesn't really do much, and he tends to just do things because the script told him to do them, and that's not really all that exciting. It's, I'm sorry, but it's not. God, I'm getting down on this. I don't hate this. I have a fair amount of fun watching it because of the interactions, and even some of the cheesy stuff like Omega and his army are kind of fun to watch for how goofy they can be. But this isn't really, honestly, this is an unintentional perfect tribute. It has some really great stuff in it. It also has some really goofy things in it. Like, to the point of just, why is this happening? It managed to get that part down perfectly. As a story, it just doesn't do that good of a job. It's a very dull, unoriginal story. Oh no, a strange anomaly has occurred, and it's going to destroy all of time. I know, let's send the doctor. Oh wait, he's in trouble. We should send 2 more. And screw the rules of time, this is our 10th anniversary special. We are going to do something cool. It's something to definitely go watch if you want to watch it. But it's not like a highly recommended thing. It's very disappointing if you were expecting it to be big outright. I mean, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, I'm watching all these doctors for the first time. And, kind of putting up a fake shadow of excitement helps it, but after watching it, maybe I've watched it a few times now since I've originally gotten it, and if we watched it for this, it's disappointing. And it should have been great. It should have been an amazing thing. But I didn't get that, so maybe that's just what's happening. That's it for all of my rambling. I've gone for almost 15 minutes. See you next time.